Welcome back, everyone. The Hello World Guy, and in today's video, we are going to implement gravity and jumping for our game. So this is going to be an interesting video. So first of all, let me open up the player script because that's the only script that we will be changing in this video, and so that we can. And this script will contain all the logic, including shooting and stuff. You might want to separate it if you want. Up to you. I'm not going to do that, at least for now. And now, this was the code that we had in the last video. No, the video before that, I accidentally uploaded the videos a bit out on the wrong time yesterday, but well, I'll try not to do that again. Anyways, what we are going to do first of all here is considering that we have got this working movement, so now we need to implement gravity. Now, currently, if I go ahead and play my game, I don't know why it's compiling. Maybe because I hit the private keyboard, it's compiling all the scripts again, which is not really good. I mean, Unreal Engine had a much better compiler, even though it compiled blueprints that were a lot faster. This is a bit slow, but anyways, once it has compiled, but you should see that if I play my game and I walk off the ground, so let me just play it. So if I walk off the ground, then nothing happens. I don't fall down, which is of course totally wrong. Now, what you might want to do is you might want to implement a physics-based movement system. If you actually want to do that, I've got a tutorial on that as well in the 3D platformer series, which is physics-based. But you can see currently I can just walk off the ground and nothing happens. I don't fall down. It is not realistic, and we of course want to have that implemented so that we have got gravity. So for this, how are we going to implement gravity? Now we will of course use our own system for it because the formulas are pretty simple. So yeah, let's get started doing that. So first thing that we are going to do is have a couple of variables here. So first is going to be a private constant float called gravity, and this gravity, by the way, is going to be equal to minus 9.18 f, which is the standard amount of gravity. You can make it 10 if you want. It doesn't really cause much of a problem, but sometimes you might want the player to have extra weight or extra gravity, kind of that sort of thing. So this, what we are going to do is I'm going to just add a 3D alive field here, a private float called gravity multiplier. And that's better, and that's nice. By the way, I'm going to remove the const here. All right, let's just keep it. Okay, so what we are going to do is in the update method, we are going to, well, we are also going to have another variable here, a private float called move by. And what we are going to do here is I'm going to just go ahead and add another statement of controller.move, saying vector 3 dot up, because we want to move up, of course, and that is going to be multiplied by our move by, which is obviously going to be multiplied by our time, the delta time, because we don't want frame rate independent stuff. With that done, that makes if this works. So we have our controller dot move, which I should cause it to move correctly. By the way, you might want to use a standard gravity amount here instead of defining your own thing, but I'm going to just keep it that way because you can use like physics dot gravity, but we haven't not been using that. But we are going to keep our own amount. After that, what we are going to do is we need to of course set this move by. So for this, I'm going to add a statement here. Well, first I'm going to add a statement here saying controller dot is grounded. Now this returns whether the player is on the ground or not. Is the controller is grounded, but one thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to check if our move by is less than 0. If it is, that means that our move is less than 0. We are going to set it to 0.2, or if we don't, then well, I mean, it will work, but the problem is that if we do not, add this little check here, then when the player goes off, it will start doing stuff then, and it would be a bit of kind of problematic. So we don't want that, and we don't want the move by to go way too low. So that would cause a little bit of problem, because we are going to be doing the move by all the time. We are going to say move by minus equal gravity multiplied by gravity multiplier, and we need to multiply this by time to delta time. Now you might be wondering why we are multiplying time to delta time twice. Well, the reason for that is pretty simple, that since gravity is acceleration, and which means that it is squared, then we need to multiply by time to delta time twice. and this is actually going to cause the correct results. Normally, when you actually multiply twice by delta time, it makes it time frame rate dependent, not independent. But this time it is going to work. So let's test if that actually works, which I doubt it will, because we have set the gravity multiplier to 0 right now. So in order to fix that, let me just open up the game and select the player, and I'm going to set its gravity multiplier to something like 2. Oh, no, no, no. That's not something that we want. Let me open this up here, and if I look here, why is that happening? That should not happen. uh, Alright, maybe you need to say plus equal, even though that doesn't make a lot of sense. Because, or the problem is that, oh yeah, you need to say plus equal because the gravity is set to negative. We were doing inverse gravity, which of course is not correct. So now let's go under here and let it compile, and and this should work. So let's see, and let me set this to 2, and then let's hit play. Now our player should fall down when we walk off the ground. So let's see. uh, it's a bit low for some reason, because, well, alright, so I can move around now, and if I fall off, then that works. And you can add more gravity multiplier if you want, or less. And yeah, this is working now. We need to add jumping. Now, since we actually do want to allow our player double jumping, I will have to create a private int here called max jump count, which represents how many times that the player can jump, which we are going to set to 2 by default, because that will allow us to have like double jump. And what I'm going to do in here is I'm going to have a private int here called jump count, which will represent how many times we have jumped already. And whenever we are grounded, which means that we land on the ground, we are going to set the jump count is equal to 0. Yeah, that's what we want. All right, so now the just jump count is 0. What we need to do is let's do it after doing this. Let's say if input dot get button down jump, and our jump count is less than the max jump count, then what we are going to do is we are going to say, well, our input, that means that we need to well, jump actually. So how we're going to jump, well, we will figure that out in a second. But we are also going to say our jump count plus plus. Now how are we going to actually jump? For that, all we need to do is we need to, well, first of all, define a variable up here, a serialized field here, a private float, and we might want a jump force, which is at our move y2, but I'm going to actually have a jump height here. And whenever we want to jump, we are going to just use a formula to make sure that we always jump exactly this height. So we are going to say something like, well, we are going to use a standard formula here, which involves setting our move y is equal to, we need to take the square root of, so just go and say method of square root, and that's going to be our jump height multiplied by -2 multiplied by gravity. And this should actually work. This should cause our player to jump in the way it's supposed to jump. And well, this is all right. So now let's go under Unity and let it compile. And once it has compiled, we will set the relevant values here, and what you should see is that we have got a double jumping player. So let's wait for it to compile. Has it compiled already? All right. Max jump count is this, and I'm going to keep the jump height at something like, let's say, 6. And now even if I hit play, just as I selected the player, just keep a note of the position on the y of the player, and you can see it is 1.18, and if I jump, that should get to around 7.18, and that does not happen. Well, the reason that it actually didn't work is because we need to multiply the gravity by the gravity multiplier here as well. And once that works, let's just go ahead and hit play and see how well that goes. And what you should see that my player jumps to around 7.18, almost exactly 7.18. If that doesn't happen, then this formula is wrong, I suppose. And that does happen. So yeah, we've got a working gravity and jumping system, and you can see we can double jump, but no more. So yeah, everything is working now, and I will see you in the next video, in which we will add start to add guns and stuff to our game. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.